radio advertising and promotional product marketing business for over 14 years. During the past 5 years, David has shifted his career and embarked on launching a business in consulting, coaching, and training. You can read his full bio included in the agenda. We are glad to have him present to us the customer service strategy, market research, and developing a unique selling point. Thank you.
Thanks. Also, welcome, everyone, and thanks for being here at this, early hour on a, crisp fall morning. So we're going to talk about three kind of topics. One's customer service, the other is market research, and what was the last one again? Good, right, developing unique. And you know what? As I was researching this seminar and doing this work, it's all tied in. It really is. Everything just fits hand in hand. Here's what you need to know and why good customer service is essential. Competition is increased. You're probably feeling that in your own business, right? There's lots of, well, I don't know about honey producers, but there's lots of promotional products companies and fitness people and, computer people and bookkeepers and accountants. There's more clutter and noise in the marketplace. I don't know if you're sensing that. I don't know if you're, how many of you are on social media? I've been finding, and tell me if you have been finding this too, it's just so much noise out there and everybody's got a voice and it's oh man, you just get a little, what I call social media fatigue. Are you finding that a little bit? Yeah, it's what, I'm going to add my voice to the mix, and you wonder if anybody's really paying attention, or enough people are paying attention. So there's way more clutter in the marketplace, I'm finding. Advertising is increasingly expensive to advertise on, major, radio, newspaper, television, even local newspaper, Snap. Full page ad is close to a couple $1,000s for just one ad. It's kind of, it's a little scary, truthfully. And, even local radio here in Durham, KX96 or The Rock, they're around $80 a spot, right? And for advertising to work, you got to buy a lot of ads. And you have to be on, they always say go long and often in media. On Facebook, there's now 300 million people on Facebook a day. It's pretty scary. It's pretty staggering numbers. 200 million on Twitter. That was a couple years ago, by the way, a day. So 200 million tweets a day. So how do you, if you want to follow the herd, you're going to get you could get, brushed aside or trampled. It's almost like, running the bull race in Spain, right? You're going to get probably trampled. There's 126 million blogs online. You know what a blog is? Everybody's got blogs, or you're blogging. 27 million tweets per day. Sorry, 27 million tweets per day. That's from 2 years ago. Gosh knows what it is now. It's probably, double that. 1 billion videos YouTube serves in one day. 1 billion. It's holy jeez. There's more direct mail. You're probably getting, lots of junk mail. I go home, I'm waiting for the check to come in. So, oh, junk mail. Where's the check? Didn't come. 3,000 commercial messages a day, right? 3,000 ads that we're exposed to every day. Just, watch a hockey game and the boards and the ice and even Canadian Tire butts in the middle of it all and has a little ad. I don't think they're doing that anymore, but 3,000 commercial messages a day that the average person is exposed to. And we have 60,000 thoughts going around our head each day. So there's a lot of noise and a lot of clutter. Would you agree? It's pretty scary if you think about that. So what's the key to all this? One of the keys that you got to sort of be mindful of is, positioning. So what do we mean by positioning? Any ideas before you read that? What do you think we mean by positioning? You've got to really focus on getting, having a consistent message and having that message be sort of top of mind in your customer's mind. You want to sort of fight for mind share. Yeah. Yeah, you want to stand out. You want to be known for what you're doing. So one of the things you want to do is be consistent in your messaging. And in everything you do, just have consistency and a clear, concise message when you're marketing. You don't want to confuse your customers. So the product is positioned relative to the consumer. So you got to meet the needs of your consumer and customer and understand their needs, their viewpoints of your value. And so the basic theory is that you get into the mind of your consumer and position your product accordingly. So here's where that customer research or market research comes into play. You got to know your customer and then position yourself according to what they want and what their needs are. And get really clear on who you're serving as well. So, how do you do that? You got to be great. So what do I mean by great? It's it's all about really being great at what you do and offering great customer service. So what great stands for is, just if you want to really amp up on your customer service level, greet everybody, have a good smile, have a nice friendly approach. Try and relate to them right away, I remember a few years ago, I worked at Good Life Fitness for a little while, just part-time. I was a member there, and I really like it there, and I said, you've taken on some part-time people, I wouldn't mind working a shift or two, and I got a free membership. They actually spend an inordinate amount of time training their customer service people how to greet everybody. I don't know if you've ever gone into Good Life Fitness, but they call it the world-class meet and greet. And what they do is they shake your hand, they use two hands, and they'll ask you, hey, how are you? And nice scarf, where'd you get that? So right away, I'm relating to, Karina, and how did you hear about us? So they're checking in by just asking a couple of questions. They're seeing, hey, was it the ad, or did you just walk in? Was it a referral? Who referred you? If there was a referral, I think your friend gets a free bag or a t-shirt. And then they ask you, what are you coming in here today for? What would you like? Do you have time to meet with a service rep to have a tour? And then when you're on the tour, they're going to ask you more questions about your goals, your fitness goals, your health, and what you'd like to achieve. So you want to greet everybody that you meet with a smile, with something nice to say, maybe a little compliment about what they're wearing or what they're doing. Try and remember people's names. So be great at what you do. So it starts with greeting everybody you meet, being respectful of each customer. I remember working in retail a number of years ago, and people would come in and they'd be dressed like, really sloppily, and then they'd end up paying with like an Amex Gold card. What if you make a judgment about your customers or people that you're meeting, you don't know who that person is. I don't know about you, but I do. I like to really sort of, sometimes on the weekends, I'm really schleppy, right? Like this Sunday, I was doing stuff around the house, and I went shopping, and I was really sort of dressed like not like a bum, but I was just sort of like really bummy, because I was building furniture and, hadn't shaved or anything. So if somebody kind of mistreated me at the store, I probably would have walked out. I was there, with the intent to buy and, paying cash, and I had, I wanted to, make a transaction. So if somebody judged me based on what I looked like that day, they would have been pretty sad because, they would have lost the sale. Thankfully, I went to IKEA, and it's all self-serve, something like that. So respect each customer. You don't know who they are, or what they're about, or what their story is, or or where they're at. There was I think a lot of you took my workshops at Essential, and I always talk about a book called Hug Your Customer, Mitchell Richards' clothing store, and There was a guy that pounded on the door on a Saturday night as they were closing the store and tidying it up for the next day. And he pounded hard on the door at 6:30 at night. And most clothing stores or retail stores, what would they do if somebody was pounding on the door a half hour after you closed? What would most people do? No, we're closed, go away, we're done. They opened the door and said, "What's up?" The guy said, "Oh man, I'm in a real panic. My best friend just died, and the funeral's tomorrow. I need a suit. Come on in, let's get you going." And the guy was, really rushed, and when your best friend dies, you're sort of a little bit, all over the place emotionally, and he wasn't overly dressed up. And they got him in a suit, and he got his suit, and they did the alterations even and everything. And he left, and the guy was like, a big executive and started to refer a ton of business to Mitchell Richards. So, you can make a judgment. You could tell somebody to go away, but you could be really making a big mistake. So to be great, greet everyone you meet, respect each customer, because you never know who they are or who they know. There was a chiropractor, Dr. Jeff. It's a little story about him in a book called Buzz Marketing by Mark Hughes. And he did the unusual. What he did was, usually a chiropractor wants to work with people who have insurance plans or money, right? He said, "You know what? I'm going to work with people who don't have insurance plans and don't have money. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to treat people who are maybe on welfare or homeless or just don't have." And so he started to offer chiropractic treatments, and he amped up the treatment. Usually you go to a chiropractor maybe once a month or every couple of weeks. He did it like every day. So these people got better real fast. They started to see results in their health, improvements. And they said, "Okay, great. You feeling better?" "Yes, Dr. Jeff, you're amazing. Thank you for this treat and this coverage. We could never afford it." He said, "What I want you to do is tell everybody you know." So all of a sudden, these people who don't normally have access to chiropractic care started to become his disciples. And his thinking, and he says this in the book, he says, "My thinking is, you know what? They now become my salespeople. They now become my disciples. Because even though you might be on welfare or you don't have money or you don't have coverage, everybody knows somebody. So maybe your sister or brother have coverage. Maybe your friends have coverage." So what happened was they started to sort of self-form and promote them and tell the story of how great Dr. Jeff was. So he did sort of the opposite of what most chiropractors do, and he had really great success at doing that. So you really do want to respect the client. The next big thing in terms of being great is to engage people. What do we mean by engage? It's not the step before you get married, but it's close. Yeah.
Establish a relationship, connection.
Yeah.
Anything to establish trust and credibility.
Exactly. So you want to establish trust, a relationship, credibility with everybody you meet. One of the, what I'm hearing a lot, even on social media, as tough as it may seem, because of the noise and the clutter, and is to establish relationships with people online. Really focus on the relationship as opposed to the transaction. Because if you establish a relationship with people, the transactions will follow. The business will follow. So relationship is really key. And it's the same thing too in your business. You have to establish really good relationships first before you can get the sale and ask for the business. I had an incident the other night with this woman who added me as a friend on Facebook, and she sent me a message saying, "Oh, you got to take part in the 90-day challenge," and whatever. And I'm going, whoa, you don't even know who I am? Get to know me to see if I'm really even interested in the 90-day challenge. And it's this Visalis product that everybody's marketing these days, and it's this 90-day challenge. And she said, she emailed me back or sent me a Facebook message back saying, "Well, I'm a millionaire. I think I know a thing or two about selling." I said, "Yeah, but, really get to know somebody first and see if they're even interested and develop that rapport and the relationship first, and then you kind of ease into it. Once you have the relationship, people are going to want to work with you and buy from you and transact with you, and it's not such a hard sell at that point. So you want to really focus on engaging your clients. And the next thing to being great is have an awesome attitude. Ken, I know you do. I've seen you in class, you know. I had a computer problem one day, I think, and guess who came right up to fix it? No questions asked. He was right there and he fixed it immediately. Ken, right? And I know in talking to you and in meeting with you, you're the same way with your clients, right? You fix the computer so well that, they don't hire you back for a while, right? So, your attitude really does count for a lot. Yeah, you know what? There are days you're going to, feel a little sorry for yourself, or business maybe isn't going well, but have that awesome attitude. It makes a huge difference. Again, I'll allude to Good Life. I mean, they even have, not only do they do the world-class meet and greet, but they answer the phone. You know what they say? It's a great day at Good Life. Like these are the leading companies, right? And they have amazing attitudes. We'll get into some more examples soon. And then the last thing is thank them. Thank your customers. How many of you make it a practice to send thank you notes? Excellent. That's what I like to hear. So that's great customer service. If you can do that on a regular basis with each customer, watch your sales soar. So it's be great. So here's a concept. Have anybody heard of this guy, Zappos, Tony Hsieh? Zappos started selling shoes online, and they free delivery. You could return anything that didn't fit. Now he's into clothing, menswear, ladieswear, and he's built an amazing company up. Zappos.com. Check it out if you haven't. He's even written a book just recently. So he is a master at great customer service. A master. So, you want to read up on this guy. So what does he do? Yeah, return anything. Doesn't work. You're not happy? Tell us. We'll fix it. He's even launched a website and a book called DeliveringHappiness.com. Check it out, Delivering Happiness. So the book is called Delivering Happiness, A Path to Profits, Passion, and Purpose. His goal as far as customer service goes is this, just to deliver happy, to make people happy. And if you, in an interview, he said, imagine doing that all day. It's like, it's not even a job, it's fun. So the number one priority at Zappos was really about company culture. So if you get the culture right, the rest of the stuff will just happen naturally. So I really like what they're doing. I think it's really exciting. As you start your companies or you're running your companies, really think like, what is the company culture? What do you want people to know you for? And set your goal or your vision for your company culture, and then just, do the actions that you need to do in order to have that company culture actually take shape. And bless you. So this is a guy, John Corioth, who runs a bar in Austin, Texas. It's called Six. You can go online. It's quite the bar. They followed the delivering happiness philosophy that Tony Hsieh at Zappos wrote about and talks about. And he said, this is a little bit wordy, but he said, the most rewarding thing to us is when we're walking around in Austin and we see some of our friends, the first thing they say to us is that we were at Six, that they were in Six and our employees were just so nice. They ask me how I get them to act that way when other bars are not that way. I just smile and say, Zappos, baby. I don't tell them the whole story. I let them try and figure it out for themselves like we did. As I said, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And so he followed the Zappos philosophy of creating culture, delivering happiness. And I don't know if you know, but in Austin, Texas, the economy is pretty slow. Their bar is not. There's their bar. It's a nice little crowd, eh? How many of you would like that for your business? That many people to come. So that's a recent picture, actually. So that's inside the bar at Six. It's crowded. People are going to it. It is the spot in Austin, Texas, and they're doing well. So some of you have taken my marketing workshop, know of other examples of good customer service. Pike's Fish Market, they wanted to create a culture and be world famous, so they do everything in their power to be world famous. Mitchell Richards clothing store in Connecticut and New Jersey is all about hugging your customer. And the McKay Envelope Company, their goal is to know more about their customer than the IRS. So that's all about market research, right? Knowing about their customer. They know everything there is to know, from your anniversary to your birthday, to your kids' names, to your wife's names, to your hobbies, to what you're interested in, because they find that the more they know you, the better they can serve you. So, if it's your birthday, guess what? They'll call you, they'll send you a card. It makes you feel good, right? You won't go elsewhere when you're getting service like that. And I also mentioned Dr. Patty Lund, a dentist in Australia who was on the brink of suicide and said, you know what, if my practice can make me money, why can't it bring me joy and happiness? So now his practice is about delivering joy and happiness to everybody he meets. So that's Dr. Patty Lund. And Zane Cycles. Anybody here at Zane Cycles? What would you do if you were a tiny little bike shop in Connecticut and Walmart moved into town? What do you think most bike shops do? They panic. They close up maybe. They shake in their boots, right? Walmart's coming to town. Whoa. That sends reverberations all throughout Main Street. Not for Zane Cycles. So what did he do? They knew who they wanted to be at Zane Cycles. They stayed true to who they wanted to be and to their company culture and to offering excellent service at Zane Cycles. They pride themselves on delivering excellent customer service at Zane Cycles, and they do it no matter what. So this is what he said. They said, we know the customer inside and out. Because I know my customers, I know that he has 3 daughters, all under the age of 11, and since the initial trailer transaction, he's made 4 purchases, and in 3 years as a customer, he has never asked for a discount, even during a multiple bike transaction. Even if the trailer had been unsellable, the cost of the trailer was minimal compared to the profit we had already recognized from his previous purchases. To complete the story, we actually sold the trailer at a discount to a valuable customer within a week of having it returned. So this guy he's got he keeps amazing data and records of each employee transaction or customer transaction, and he's got data and information and market research on each customer. So he knows them inside out. He can serve them way better. He knows how what your needs are going to be. He knows how many of you know that you've got kids, the kids that they have. 3 kids under the age of 7, what are they going to need growing up? They're going to need new bikes, right? They're going to need new services. They're going to be customers for life. They're going to need new helmets as they grow up and get bigger. They're going to need bigger bikes. So he's creating lifetime customers. By the way, he's way outdoing Walmart. He's the #1 bike retailer in all of America. Okay? Check out Zane Cycles. It's really incredible. As I said, they went head-to-head against Walmart, and they won. He did everything that they weren't doing. And it was all about customer service. It was all about knowing that customer inside out. It was all about delivering excellent customer service. So there's a book called Alpha Dogs written by Donna Fenn about 6 years ago, I guess. And she even wrote up, he's one of the top 10 leading companies in the US that are doing great work. Any questions? At Zane Cycles, he says, families who inquire about trailers have children. Customers who purchase trailers like to buy expensive toys for their children. Children need several bikes as they grow, and parents need bikes to ride with their children. Comparatively, customers who spend thousands of dollars a month in credit card transactions, who pay the balance in full and have only one current banking relationship, are potentially as valuable to the bank as my trailer customers are to me. Everybody know what a trailer is? It's like, yeah, okay. So he knows everything like inside out. He's got like a pulse on everybody. So ultimately, capturing customer data, it really helps you make more money. Because he says, because we capture all customer transactions, we can offer attractive savings. When we have the opportunity to purchase discounted inventory from manufacturers, for instance, we can create a promotion with that inventory by focusing on only those customers who potentially need the product. For example, I can often get clothing in one particular size at a discount, and when we run a transaction search of everyone who's previously purchased that size, we send a postcard or an email informing targeted customers about the discounted merchandise. Because I know their size, I don't have to promote my offer as limited to specific sizes. This is the way, like, you A, improve customer service, and B, this is the importance of market research, knowing your customer and continuing to communicate to your customer. Send an email, give them a call, stay in touch, engage them, build the relationships, right? Let them know, hey, we got a sale. We got a special buy, you might be interested. How many of you get calls from the vendors you work with or the retailers? Not really, right? They don't even take your name or number, most of them. Would you like, like a call once in a while just to let you know that you can save some money, or they got a special purchase in? Or, so it really behooves you to make it part of, what you do in terms of your level of customer service, the questions you ask, the information you get from your customers, the data you collect over time. You're not going to do this, by the way, in one sort of meeting or one transaction. This takes place over time. Okay, so yeah.
They don't call you, but they send you emails and advise you that we have a discount.
Right, but and that's nice. Do you like that when you get that? Yeah. You know what? I might not use it. Right. At least you might not buy at that point, but at least you know when they're staying in touch. I find a lot of retailers and vendors are sort of afraid to stay in touch with their customers to let them know about this, sales, especially at the retail level. You go in, you make one transaction, and that's it. They forget about you. Your best customer are the customers you have already, are the people that you know already. They already like you and trust you and buy from you. What you want to do is nurture those relationships so that they buy more. They can buy more products, maybe more services. Maybe they can refer business to you as well, if you've got that kind of relationship going.
Is it not a double-edged sword to that as well? So many times you'll go into a retail outlet and you'll be at the cash and somebody will say, name, phone number.
It's all in how you ask. Yeah, I wouldn't reply to that either. But if they ask, like, hey, would you like to be on our list so we can inform you and, of specials and events? Isn't that a lot nicer? Yeah, rather than name, phone. Like, yeah, I was just, at a retailer and they just asked for my postal code. Yeah. It's like, what do you need that for? I guess it's for their purpose. Well, stop thinking about yourself and think of your customers. So do it in a little bit of a nicer, hey, you know what, we have specials from now on time and again, we get special buys, or we have special events, or maybe, certain times a year, Karina, you can have a discount on your bookkeeping or something like that, and offer that, or promotions. In February, it's Love Your Business Sale.
There's a store in Oshawa.
Yeah.
And they always ask for your postal code. And one day I say, why do you ask me this question? And they say, well, if you have to return something, then we have you in the computer, and many times you don't have your receipt anymore. So I found that was smart from them to do that.
Yeah, but if they let you know up front, then you kind of like, you know, it's just a simple like, hey, we need your postal code and here's why,
Yeah.
you know?
And I did the same when I wanted to make a newsletter every month. Now we always want with it. So I asked my clients first, would you like to be on my list? And thanks God I did that, because the service agent, no, we have enough. So it saved me a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I didn't buy on my client.
Right. So you want, that's called permission marketing. You always want to ask permission before you send. And yeah, and you have to be aware of the fact that people are inundated with stuff, emails, Facebook messages. You know, between Facebook and Twitter, I must get like, 30 emails a day, right? And invites to this and do this and how here. It's like, whoa, I think I have to clone. We got to clone ourselves, eh? One to do the work and one to have fun and socialize, I think. All right. So really important to get to know your customers. Don't be afraid to ask good questions. What I want you to do in your tables, what are like, see if you can come up with 10 really good questions you like to ask your customers, okay? So you can do a little bit of work. See if you can, team up and what are 10 really good questions you'd want to ask your customers on a regular basis? Okay, good. Okay, let's hear from each group. What were your 10 questions? What would you ask a customer?
Do you have family?
Okay, do you have family? And so you want to know maybe they have people they can refer to you on that, right?
Or building reports, more that all the age group that they have needs.
Right.
Exactly. What type of work do you do? Did somebody refer you to us? How did you hear about us? How far is your business? What are your goals with my company? When's your birthday? Do you have any big events coming? What brought you here now? And what happened with your current supplier?
Okay, good. So those are some of the questions you want to sort of, ask each customer. I always like, my first meeting usually with a customer is a question and answers session. I'm not there to sell, I'm there to find out, to see if we're a good fit for each other, right? What did your group had 9 questions, Ken and Lee?
Yeah. Basically, we started off by saying like, who are you?
Mm-hmm.
Get some familiar information with them. Why else? What did you hear about us? What can we do to help you? Do you live or work in the area? Trying to get some ideas where you're coming from. Do you mind if we collect some data about your email or mail list?
Yeah, you want to.
And stuff
Sure.
like that. And we try to get into their family, if they have family, or married, or single, or have kids. What can we do to are you comfortable? You might have water or coffee.
Right.
So we try to get them comfortable there. And we got here, offer them a gift, but I say, do you have one of these? So we actually give them a free gift with some sort of promo on it.
Wow, okay.
Whatever it is. And we monitor your family and friends for the service you had, so we can have that out also. So we try to get some referrals.
Yeah, they're referrals.
Did I miss any?
Okay, that's good. Also, you want to, in your businesses, what are some of your challenges? What's going on with your computers, or what would you like? What's some of your marketing challenges for your business, Lee? There's a little rule of thumb. I remember in sales, somebody taught me way back when. They said, whenever somebody offers you a coffee, take it, because it usually takes a little longer to drink a coffee. And so the longer you're with somebody, the more you get to know them and you get to chat, and the more you can find out about that person. So take that coffee, have a coffee with someone. It takes a little longer to drink a coffee because it's hot than it does just to sip a water. So always accept a coffee, okay? Make sure you go to the washroom though before you leave. And what did your group come up with? What did you come up with 10 questions?
Oh, actually, we came up with questions and they've pretty much all been said already. But we were talking about, can we have to get a business card off?
Yes,
you? Everyone has a computer in this
Yes,
age,
yes.
so yeah, we'll be taking a few business cards this way.
So, do you have any different questions? Yeah.
We had one specific question because, I'm sorry, with for honey, we said, how are you using my product? Because there's multiple uses.
Right.
for honey.
Oh, yeah.
And so she could offer other information.
Right.
And build a different kind of client who would try it out for something else.
Right.
Because I have allergies and we were just talking about the homeopathic uses of it. So that would be interesting.
So you can keep people in your newsletter, let them know about the homeopathic and healing properties of honey,
Another thing too, you know what they're using it for, you'll know how much honey they need. So
Right.
you'll know when they're running out. You can say, hey, you're probably running out, maybe you need more honey.
Yeah.
Instead of a reminder.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, you can actually use your customers to help you gain business as well, right?
Totally.
Because with that being said, yeah, you can find out so many different ideas that maybe you never even stumbled across yourself.
Yeah.
And go with it, right?
Exactly. And, or are they tea drinkers or coffee drinkers? Tea drinkers would probably be more apt to put a little honey in their tea, right? You talk about that, and it brings up a really interesting case study. There was a marketing company owned by a fellow by the name of Chet Holmes. If ever you want to sort of like tap into a really one of the best marketing minds in all of North America, chetholmes.com. And he talks about, he's hired by Warren Buffett companies and major companies. Anyway, he was hired by a major calendar company to increase sales, right? And so they did a little research. This is the importance of research, even not just market research, but understanding the market and how things can mesh. So the research they did was they noticed that calendars at Walmart were placed where? Any ideas where you'd find a calendar? In the back with the stationery and or the books. And so they noticed that calendar sales at Walmart's were really low, but at places like Barnes & Noble in the States, like major bookstores, where would you find calendars? Right in the front of the store by the cash. And so the research said that calendars, and when they asked their customers about your purchasing of calendars, everybody said, I purchased them on the spur of the moment, it's an impulse buy, and yeah, when I'm in line waiting at the cash and I see a nice calendar with kittens on it, and I know that Aunt Marge loves kittens, I buy one. And so they asked Walmart, they said, Walmart, this is what's going on with calendar sales at Barnes & Noble. They totally blow you out of the water on calendar sales. Yet Walmart apparently sells more dollar value, more books than Barnes & Noble. They just have fewer titles, but they sell more books. So they asked Walmart, they said, what we notice is that calendars are an impulse buy. Would you be willing to increase your business and also serve the customer in a lot better way and help this calendar company grow their sales by putting it at the cash? And Walmart said, yeah, we'll do that. So sales started to really go through the roof for this calendar company just because of a little bit of research, do your homework, Here was a beautiful business opportunity, a chance for Walmart to make more money through selling more calendars, their customers being happier, and the calendar company increased their sales just by doing a little bit of homework, a little bit of research, and understanding the market and how people think and why they buy and how they buy, and by asking a few critical questions. Would you be willing to move where your calendars are? And amazing results. And they so that marketing company helped get their client the results they were looking for, and you bet that they're going to be retained for a while to be their marketing company of record. That's what good research, good questions can actually help you, do in your business. It can really help you grow your business.
I was thinking about your honey business. I'm anxious about what your tagline is because I know that would draw people in. And I'm just thinking of sweeten up my day or something. I'm not sure what your tagline is because I have kids and I took my son to McDonald's and I said, how do you like your McDonald's? And he said, I'm loving it. But I think McDonald's has that as one of its taglines. It just hit me right there, that whole powerful that tagline was. So, I figure like, my tagline is we get you up and running. I got it from the program. And people call me and I said, we get you up and running. And they just there and, and I have like, as you know, a loaner program. When you come in with a broken computer, I give you a loaner, so you go back smiling and you're happy. And then you call me back. And people, there's a lady that I gave her a loaner, she doesn't want to give me back. So I still have a computer, she loves the loaner. I said, you know what I said there? I said, keep it.
Wow.
Serious. So I'm saying that your tagline is very powerful. So I was thinking of your honey business, and I figured like something will draw me if I know what that is.
The name is the Busy Bee.
The Busy Bee.
Busy Bee.
Okay.
So you give it an Ethel Merman and go, there's no bees in this, like, show.
We know our business.
All right, so really important now to really ask good questions of your clients on a regular basis. I remember just recently, actually, I was pitching a customer on doing sales training. It was an insurance company. And they said, just put together a proposal and we'll decide. And then I thought, you know what? I already gave you some ideas. It would be really a moot point of putting a proposal again together and it just not cutting it. Do you mind if I come in and interview you and ask you questions and talk to some of your sales reps and see what's really going on for them and what their concerns are, so that when I do put together a proposal, it makes sense. It's going to solve the problems that your reps are having. And you know what? Oddly enough, I never heard back from her. And I followed up a few times after, and she never called back. I said, this is how I think I want to work. I don't want to work like just throwing, ideas at you and them not landing and missing. We're wasting both our time. What I'd love to do is just to come in and meet you to ask you questions and speak to some of your reps. And so we can customize the training. And in not hearing back from her, I just got that that's not how they wanted to do business, but it's how I like to do business. And how I like to do business is more of a consultative kind of approach, where I'm in dialogue and I'm asking my customers really good critical questions. So it's really important, not from just a research point of view, but also just to just really to understand your customer and where they're at, and ask good questions. Keep a file or database. How many of you have some sort of a file or database system? Excellent. And where you're logging, like each time you meet the client, hey, you know what, we talked about this, or this happened, or that happened, and this was a concern they brought up, or this was a worry that they brought up. Because what that's going to do is it's going to help you do business with that customer later on. Plus, your customers love it when you know and remember them. You know what, Joey, last time we spoke, you said that this was happening. How's that going for you now? Wow, you remembered? There's a little restaurant in Ottawa. I grew up in Ottawa, and I go back there maybe once a year, because it's kind of, as Greg, it's off the menu plan, this restaurant. It's a Chinese restaurant, and they have these world-famous egg rolls. It's called the Golden Palace. And the egg rolls are deep fried, so it's totally off our plan, right? So anyway, I go back maybe once a year, and they know me still from like when I lived in Ottawa. And I've been in Toronto for 30 years, so it's been a while, but they still remember me, and they go in, oh, how's your sister, and how's this, and how's Toronto? It's like, how does that make you feel? It's like you feel like $1 million. Wow, how do you remember that, It's just, yeah. So keep a good diary, keep a good record of what you talk about with your customers. After a meeting, go back in your car or whatever and write it down. Or if you're on the phone, write it down. Keep a diary and then refer back to it. Because believe me, people just love it when you kind of, you remember the little things and that you pay attention and you're up on what their needs are or what their concerns are. People love that. I remember there was a TV show on City TV years ago, Brian Linehan, and he'd ask his guests like these amazing questions, and they go, how'd you know that? That's amazing, because he did the research. He had a crack research team helping him out. And remember that asking good questions is a key to building great relationships. And I use great as our great customer service analogy. And it's also the key to your customers not going elsewhere. The more you know them, the more you can serve them, the more you can, cater to their every need, or you can relate to them, they won't go anywhere else. They'll be yours for life because you understand them. You take the time to really get to know them. And the more, even the little details, like the kids' names or their wives' names or a birthday or an anniversary or what's their sport. Just getting all that detail and understanding your customers at that level and relating to people on that level, they won't go anywhere else, trust me. They won't. Giving a customer a call, singing happy birthday to them. Just, they'll be yours for life, I guarantee it. And it's the one thing that you can do to really stand out from the pack. Especially in this day and age where, people are a lot more careful about where they're spending and who they're spending it with and what they're buying. We're a little more cautious about our expenditures. This will help you increase your likability factor, and your customers will stay with you for life if you treat them like this. Guaranteed. I guarantee it. So what do you ask? You got to ask powerful questions that demonstrate your expertise. Powerful questions demonstrate that you're not an average sort of business owner, that you're a solution provider, that you're an idea person, that you're different from the rest of the competitors. Powerful questions help you determine the best way to present your solution. So what do you think constitutes a powerful question? Knowing your business? Yeah, okay. What else constitutes a powerful question? Okay. When we say asking powerful questions, what do you think that means to you?
You have a powerful answer that.
Yeah, so you get a powerful answer to that. Sometimes you have to ask.
Constitute a question that would almost have to be answered in a yes.
Yes, or with a detailed response. Yeah. Right. So those are called open-ended questions, where it's a yes, and it gets a detailed response, and you want a detailed response. Okay? You want to ask the tough questions. What's it costing you? What by doing it that way, what are the results you're getting? How much time is it costing you? How much money is it cost? So you want to ask those hard questions. Even though it's difficult sometimes, I remember I used to kind of be a little bit fearful of asking tough questions with my clients because I thought I'd upset them and get them angry with me. And I didn't want to do that. And then the more I realized, it's like, wait a minute. For people to change, they have to realize the pain they're in with their current reality, right? And if I can sort of amp up on, remind them of the pain they're in with their current reality, then the way to do that is by asking those tough questions, right? People only change if they really, there's something really, really deep at stake, right? If you're into fitness and health, people want to get healthy, not just to get healthy, but because there's a pain associated with it, or a pleasure. So a pleasure might be, hey, I want to be really fit and as a fiddle, so I can, what's the real reason? Is it for health? Is it for looks? You know what? It could be something like, because I want to, I got a really cute wife at home. I really want to improve my sex life in the bedroom, right? Maybe that's what it's about. Maybe really being healthy is not so important. So you want to get in touch with your client's pain and or pleasure. So I want you to come up with 3 really powerful questions, okay? All right, do we have 3 powerful questions? So powerful questions really are designed to make your customer think, right? You want them to think about their current reality. And you have to understand, why we do things. According to Tony Robbins, we buy because we do things to avoid pain or get pleasure. If you realize that in your business or your work that you do, you can either then solve someone's pain or give them a pleasurable experience. And the more pain you can solve, the more money you make, by the way, because people are willing to get out of pain, right? They'll do anything. It's the old story about, you know, the woman who you give some, hey, I'll give you $1 million to walk a tightrope from the CN Tower to the TD Tower. And people go, no, too much pain. What if your kids are on the other side? Ooh, I might do that now, right? It's that kind of attitude. So what are 3 powerful questions your group got?
I was one of them is, are you up to date with your records?
Are they what?
Up to date with your records?
Okay.
What type of budget do you have in mind for the product or service? And how often do you use the specific product?
Right.
Or service?
Yeah, and it gets them thinking and talking, you know, and it gets you kind of analyzing them too. Well, maybe they don't have the budget, or maybe their budget's way too low, they're not my ideal client, or, you know, they don't use it very often, so, you know, maybe they need to use it more, right?
But I built my niche is that if I see that they don't have a budget, or they're very tight, or they're just in the beginning of it, then I offer to then teach them what I would do. So, which gives them time, and since I'm in business since now almost getting to 2 years, I found out is that when I offer that service when I start like this, they are stable. Because even if they do better, they don't want to do it themselves.
Right.
So that's my niche.
Yeah, and you shouldn't be doing it. Anyway, you should hire somebody.
Yeah, but not everybody can
I know,
afford it.
I know.
So
Yeah,
I find it's always good, especially if you be in a special field, that you have another way.
Yeah.
Still keeps them as
Yeah.
customers.
Good. Excellent, good work. What about, Ken, you and me, what did you come up with? Your powerful thoughts?
I got one lately exercise.
Okay, no worries. So Ken,
Yeah, well, I got one, and then I think we have another one there. And what I came up with, what do you dislike the most about the computer?
right. Yeah, it's really slow, you know? I hate that. Or keep shorting out, or,
Yeah, a
yeah.
lot of answers.
Yeah.
That's like a leading question, because then they'll say something, and then I can say, well, the reason why is because you open it up, 8 browser pages at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, you got something running in the background, or
Yeah.
where there's no memory, or virtual
Yeah.
memory, or whatever. It's just a leading question.
Yeah.
Looks at a lot of issues that the customer has never thought about.
Right, and it gets them thinking, and it also gives you some clues as to how you can solve that problem, right? Yeah, good. All right, and your group?
Okay, so I have down, do you see yourself as a returning customer? Okay. Would you mind taking the time to fill out a customer service survey? I did what range of money do you have to work with? I think that's a really good question, and I find that if you're purchasing something big like a TV or a computer, for instance, you'll be asked that question a lot of times. And I always just say, whatever's the cheapest, that's my answer. That's me.
Are you with this for yourself, or are you with the?
I'm with these two.
Okay.
The Durham Regional Local Training Board.
Excellent.
Yeah, and so I added another question, and I just put down, do you have any friends or family that come here? And do
Okay.
business here?
So-
Because then you can get into something with that, right? If they mention a few names that are familiar to you, you can go, oh, so okay, yeah, I just saw them in here not too long ago, how they doing?
Right.
You know, and then you build a rapport that way.
Yeah. We also talked about one of the concerns your clients have, and that's getting the right job for them. And so you also want to tap into your clients' concerns. Know like some of the challenges that people face. Hey, is this true for you? You know, what we're finding in our research is that, client, how's that fit for you, right? So
It's really important for us to understand who our clients are.
yeah,
We deal a lot with displaced workers, and so when I'm trying to gauge a sense of the kind of things they need, I was thinking these guys will say, depending on who it is in the report, like I'll ask them what they want to do, and then they'll throw out, because they're doing the job.
yeah.
And then you can start to narrow in that they need this kind of training to
Right.
get someone on that continuum.
Right, and by knowing your customers' challenges and concerns, you can even when you advertise or market, you can speak to those concerns in your marketing messaging. Hey, are you a displaced worker? Are you finding these challenges? Well, what we do is we can help you, solve those problems. So that's the importance of, again, good customer service, knowing your customers, really good market research, and being a study of the marketplace, and then positioning yourself as a problem solver. So some of the questions to ask, I like our situational questions. Hey, what's currently going on? What's happening for you right now? Where are you at? How happy are you with your current service? What are some of the challenges you have? So what you want to ask questions about their current situation and their current reality. And then, what are some of the trends? What are, what are you seeing? Where's your industry going? What's happening? What are some of the business issues or challenges you're experiencing? And then you want to check for happiness with their current reality. How happy are they? What would they like to switch? If they're not that happy with their current vendor, guess what? They might be open to switching vendors, right? And then also, what are their future? What's the future plans? When might they want to buy? When might they be looking at video or online social marketing? Or when might they want to buy that new computer and get off that loaner, right? And what do they like and dislike? What do they want? That's one of the most powerful questions to ask a client. What do you want? What would make you happy? What do you want? Is a huge question. A lot of people can't answer that. They don't know really what they want. Or what do they like or dislike? And then also check for expectations. What's your expectation from us and our relationship? How do we know that we've solved your problem or there's a good, positive outcome at the end of our working together? And again, what you want to do is slowly get to know all you can about your customer. So asking questions is something you always want to be doing. You always want to be doing market research. You always want to find out more information about your customer. So you really, you've got to be a student of the marketplace. You got to keep up to date on your industry and trends in your industry. You got to keep up to date on, your client's business. One of the most important things I teach when all of you I think have taken my cold calling is step number one is to research. Research your clients, find out more about them, find out, why they'd be good candidates and prospects for what it is you do and for your services. So you always really want to have that research mind and be doing research. So you all know about the two forms of research. So there's primary research, first-hand information, and of course secondary, which is really ongoing. That's where you get information from outside sources, newspapers, magazines, studies, reports, surveys, polls. We're being inundated with polls these days. Why? Anybody know why? The election's tomorrow, right? So the more you serve, the more you know, the better you serve. And I gave the example of that calendar company, right? The marketing company did their homework. They found out why people buy, that it was a transaction, usually was an impulse buy. That where a calendar is positioned in a store will determine the amount of sales that they get. So, the more you know, if you can get that kind of information, boy, the results for you, not only your business, but for your customer's business, are going to be that much better. And if they're happy, guess what they're going to do? They're going to tell a lot of people. Okay, we'll end up really just on niche marketing. It's not enough, to know your market or to have that broad target market. You got to get really close to who your subsegments are. You want to, tap into niches. So you want to know your clients' challenges and frustrations, what keeps them up at night, so that you can talk about that in your marketing promotion efforts. And we already alluded to that. And you also want to sort of position yourself as an expert. By knowing your niche market, you can position yourself as an expert. So I always recommend like 2 to 3 niches to play in. And what I mean by niche is find, like, you've got your target market, but within that target are little segments. So find the segments or your sweet spot of who you like to deal with. So yeah, maybe it's small business owners, but it could be like small business owners that are in high tech and maybe alternative healthcare, right? So Greg's a video guy here doing the videos today. So he calls on small business owners. Well, that target market is huge. But if he narrows it down to maybe like high tech companies and alternative healthcare practitioners, he now has a way more of a focus. He now understands that subsegment, and he can now talk their language and break in and break through the barriers. So by niching, that's what niching helps you to do. So look at your target market, but narrow it down, narrow your focus down to exactly who you want to work with and what sectors, what industries, and what kinds of clients you want to work with. I think I've alluded to in my marketing seminars about my friend Tina Veer, who is a yoga practitioner. And, you know, yoga is good for everybody, right? Mostly women, I find, take yoga. I know, having taken yoga classes myself, I'm usually the only guy, and there's 10 women. So any single guys, good place to meet women. Anyway, usually it's directed at women, and it's usually adult women, I find, in the class. But what my friend Tina did is she found her niche. She found a sweet spot. And she said, yeah, you know what? It's women, and it's usually women 25 to about 55 that take yoga. But she said, you know what? There's a group of women in there that aren't being served and that need it. And it's plus-size women. So she now does yoga. She calls it yoga for round bodies. And she's a plus-size woman herself. And she's become an expert now at issues that plus-size women have. So there's, you know, self-esteem issues. There's, you know, body image issues. And so what she's done is she offers yoga for round bodies, and it's a safe environment for plus-size women to come and do yoga in without being judged, right? And she's now positioned herself as not only a yoga practitioner, but she's positioned herself as someone who understands that marketplace, and she does counseling and talks about self-esteem and personal growth and development and any other sort of related issues. So she's found that little niche. So it's really important for you, as you do your homework, as you do your market research, to determine maybe there's 2 or 3 niches that you can just play in and become expert in, and to really get to know that industry and that marketplace, and you'll find you'll have better success. So a lot of you know Essential Communications, but I am here representing Essential Communications. They do a number of training programs. If you're on unemployment insurance, for example, or have been within 3 years, and you want to start your own business, you can register for what's called the Self-Employment Benefit Program. It's an amazing program. A number of people here have taken it or are graduating on Friday. Way to go, Lee. And it helps you start your own business. You get training and coaching and income support, and that's where they're located. They also do other training programs as well throughout the year. They're located at Brock and Dundas and Whitby, right on the 4 corners on the 2nd floor. And Tina Warenga is the manager. If you have any questions, you can call her, or you can even leave a message for me, and I can come in and meet you at Essential Communications.